Talk's friendly little proletariat uprising. America's first competition talk show. You're in the hub.
I believe the world is burning to the ground. Oh well, I guess we're gonna find out. Let's see how far we've gone.
All right, so what do you do when you win the space race? Apparently, if you're the Obama administration, you turn over the the keys to the moon rover, the space station, and the space shuttle parked in the driveway to the losing team. Call it a day and go on with life. Now, just about the time the administration made that decision here recently, we learned from our own FBI and other intelligence gathering agencies that, lo and behold, we weren't quite so far removed from the Cold War fiasco and the we don't trust the other guy scenarios that we were living in when we were ramping it up against the former Soviet Union. And we have now discovered 6 Russian spies operating under, quite frankly, outside of the what traditionally was the spy arrangement, which is where you get your credentials, you operate from within the system, and you rat out the other guy. Now we're operating outside of the system. They were operating as civilians to build relationships with the guys on the inside and the other guys, and build trust and credibility and whatnot, so they could go further with the game. So, of course, as soon as this came out, Russian Prime Minister Pectoralis Putipoo said that this in no way affected the relations. This would not affect the relations long term. This was a witch hunt on the part of a couple of agents within the agencies and within the intelligence community in the U.S., and that this was not supposed to be taken seriously. Leek, you take all of these kind of things way too seriously, so I want you to first to comment on this.
You know, I'm fascinated because I remember when the Cold War ended 22 years ago.
Apparently, it never did.
People who honestly distrusted Ronald Reagan more than they distrusted the Soviets said, "Oh, the Russians, they're our new best buddies. They're our new best friends. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic." And then come to find out, almost a quarter of a century later, they're still pulling the same gig. And I wonder if that's what happens when you elect a former KGB agent or head of the KGB as prime minister. So this is fascinating. So we trust Reagan less than the Soviets. We trust former heads of the CIA less than we trust former heads of the KGB. But lo and behold, we find out that they're still spying on us, despite all the happiness, light, unicorns, and rainbows we were promised.
But if we don't trust them, they will never trust us, and that's what we've got.
No. There is not a fine line. There's a broad 3-foot thick line between overtures and diplomacy and just naivete. We hit on a story like this yesterday with the naivete of the current crowd in the State Department. You know, the trip to Syria, to a country that sponsors Hamas, that actively creates instability in what could be an ally in the form of Lebanon, who actively interferes in the affairs of foreign nations. We have this remarkable naivete in our foreign policy now, where our harshest language is reserved for former friends, and our most naive and cavalier and careless approaches is reserved for people who've openly said they dislike us and work against us.
So you're saying, it's an obvious double standard. Now I want to throw this out because obviously President Obama took this direction in a recent meeting with President Medvedev. No hard feelings, basically, kill him with kindness. That seemed to be his approach. And when you read about this, Medvedev comes over to the U.S. for a visit. He takes him out to a hamburger joint and talk. I guess they talk about the intercultural experience we've gathered from Germany, but by having a hamburger. But he said that I do not believe that this will affect the resetting of our relationship with Russia. That was White House spokesman genius Robert Gibbs. And I don't know how you're supposed to interpret that statement other than he's an idiot. That's how I interpret most of his statements. But he said that Mr. Obama was aware of the alleged spy ring that was going on, but he chose not to even bring it up in conversation with Medvedev. And I guess that would be impolite. We can't have that. Maria, you don't want to, if you're the host, you don't want to insult your visitor, right? Correct?
Gosh, he seems to be more considerate than some of my opponents. Can we work on this a little bit? No, it's It's just absolutely unbelievable to me. I'm sitting there thinking when I hear this story that there must be a Hollywood producer out there sort of licking his lips right now thinking, this is a story
There's
right
a movie here.
Yeah, exactly. Who set this up? I just don't even know what to say about this. Out having a burger, and they're peeking through our windows, but apparently they can't filter through our drawers. What was the point? I don't get it.
Yeah, they're saying right now. There's a criminal complaint that was filed last week by prosecutors in New York. It showed that the FBI they've been investigating they've been investigating this for over a decade, and they've had access to communications between Moscow and these agents, so they knew it was going on. So I guess are they really Russian spies? If our spies are spying on their spies, or are they really leads or pawns or something? Are we giving them too much credit? How good a spy are you if you're being spied upon? You don't know you're being spied upon. Mark, seems counterintuitive.
I don't think you're a very good spy then.
I don't think so either. Lord S, would you apply for a transfer to a different agency?
No, just diplomacy only goes so far, man. This is ridiculous. Seriously. I'm with Maria on this one. I have no words. Seriously, that's just.
Well, you know what? But the woman looked really good. She was.
In the mug shots?
Yeah. So
that's important.
It's the kind of thing you just gloss over everything at that point.
Was there Photoshop?
She was able to get by with a lot.
she got by. If she actually wins it, she might get picked up by the Foxy News Network. Who knows? Now, here's the thing: that the agency said they were not directed to steal secrets or infiltrate U.S. government agencies. They were asked to meet people and gather information on potential targets, individuals who had access to national security information. So they weren't exactly sifting through your underwear drawer. They were just peeping on you from outside the window like the guys in Porky's way back when. And supposedly that doesn't make you feel as bad as it could. Leak.
The incompetence is not exactly the same thing as the absence of malice. This situation is not to be judged on their effectiveness, but their intent. If they're not very good at spying, the fact remains that the insertion and creation of human intel on the ground is an exceedingly costly and complex endeavor. So what we have to focus on is the amount of resources and the deliberate intent here, not just, they weren't that good, it's fine. I don't care if you get caught trying to rob a bank just because you're not that good at it, you still go to jail. Right. Because the important thing is the intent of the action, and how long 10 years of focused effort is
a red flag.
Steaming right through any misgivings you might have had. When you stick with something for a decade, that's the intent has to be judged.
Well, you got this Mark Galeotti, who's a specialist on Russian security issues, and he's saying that basically there's an overblown belief, it's a carryover from the KGB days and the Russian the Russian intel, that that the the policymakers there in the value of spying, and quite frankly, the value is not as high, but it's a cultural thing. It's like old habits die hard. It's almost like you need Espionage Anonymous going on in order to fix this. A secret group telling their secrets to other people in secret in a secret enclave.
In Cuban language, that's gossiping.
I don't know how that would fix or reinforce the problem. I'm thinking, honestly, that doesn't seem to be a way to break the cycle of abuse. But some way or another, it seems cultural and doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon. Mark?
I'm not really in the spy business either. I'm not in the garbage business. I'm also not in the spy business, but it certainly seems like it's not stopping.
Well, it's not. But I think the time will tell where this is headed and just how critical nature it is. I don't think anybody's turning the lights off anytime soon. We'll see you tomorrow on the.